Hi everyone, and welcome back to my videos on health and nutrition. My name is Nikki Windsor and I'm a gut health coach. So I thought I'd zoom into diagnosis with gut health problems today. So gut health issues are pretty common. Pretty much everyone will have some sort of gut problem in their life. Most of the time there'll be acute conditions, so short term. Maybe you've eaten something and you get diarrhea. That may be some sort of bacterial infection. It could be associated with a medication, a side effect, some sort of viral infection. It's generally some sort of environmental trigger or some sort of infection. And most of these you'll deal with at home. You may need to go to the doctor and you'll get some medication to treat something. And then it's gone and you get on with your life. Well, then we move into more chronic conditions. So chronic is when something is persisting for several weeks, months, even years. So this is not normal. You shouldn't be having gut problems that persist in the long term. So it's worth going to the doctor to find out what's going on. You're looking for a diagnosis. So the doctor will start off with a number of questions, usually about your symptoms. Some may seem unrelated, but it's all about narrowing it down to figure out what's going on. You may have some lifestyle questions. Doctors are tending to ask some lifestyle questions more now. You may be asked to look at a Bristol stool chart and say what out of 7 different stool patterns what you're experiencing. I'll share a Bristol stool chart so you know what that looks like. And they'll probably do some sort of non-invasive examination, so maybe feeling around your belly, listening to your heart, your lungs, everything. They may want to do a rectal exam. And these may be enough to determine what's going on. If they're not, then you tend to go on to a number of other tests. So the first will be blood tests. We can determine a lot through the blood. We have inflammation markers. So if they're elevated, it's indicating some sort of inflammation in the body. So that requires further investigation. Blood tests can show up organ function. So if you've got any problems with maybe the kidney or the liver, you can test for celiac disease through blood tests, so whether or not you're allergic to gluten. Test for deficiencies. Often deficiencies are because of digestive issues, and maybe look at enzyme function, because enzyme function is critical to digestion. Stool tests may be requested, and stool tests, a lot of the time what they're looking for is blood. Blood isn't always obvious in your stools. It can only be determined under a microscope, so that will determine if you've got some sort of injury in the gut. And they can also test the different types of bacteria you've got, and they'll be looking for like undigested food, because food should get digested properly, and if it's not getting digested properly, then it's another indication of something's going wrong with the digestion. So all of these tests, not only are they looking to confirm some sort of condition, they're also looking to rule out conditions. So something like IBS, there isn't a test that says, yes, you've got IBS. It's generally looking at patterns and typical symptoms and ruling out other more serious symptoms. So IBS and IBD. IBD can be ruled out through some of these tests, and IBD is of greater risk because it physically damages the digestive tract. So if those tests are not enough to come up with a diagnosis, then we go into scans. So you may get a CT scan or x-rays, and CT scans are a series of x-rays. You may have an MRI scan, which is magnetically generated images. Ultrasound is used to see what's going on in the abdominal cavity. Then we get invasive, and you may get an endoscopy depending on the pattern of your symptoms. Endoscopy is a camera down the throat, through the esophagus, into the stomach, and then into the first part of the small intestine. So that's looking at upper GI gastrointestinal symptoms. Or a colonoscopy. So a colonoscopy is a camera up your backside, and it goes and checks all of the large intestine and up into the last part of the small intestine. So all of these should be sufficient to come up with some sort of diagnosis, and this diagnosis is based off of the physical symptoms that you're experiencing. The doctor will recommend some sort of treatment plan, and which is looking to address those symptoms. And you may get some general lifestyle recommendations with regards to diet, for example. And then that's it. You're on your own. You may have some sort of regular checkups. For example, for Crohn's disease, I have an IBD nurse who will contact me every 3 months to determine how I'm doing. But at this point, some people just find that they're not happy with it ending there. They maybe are not happy with their quality of life. Maybe the treatment plan isn't addressing the symptoms fully, so it's still impacting on their quality of life. Maybe they're unhappy taking medication. They prefer a more holistic approach. They may not have a doctor that's sympathetic to that. Now, any reduction of medication needs to be agreed through the doctor. There's a reason why you're on that medication, and it's recommended. So if you want to come off of it, you really need to be doing that in a safe way through your doctor. There's certain medications, for example steroids, that you just cannot stop immediately. So any plan to come off of medications needs to be done in conjunction with your doctor. But there are holistic ways of treating gut problems, and certainly minimizing symptoms. There's a lot of triggers in food that will aggravate gut problems. Now, for some people, they just, especially if it's a new diagnosis, they don't know enough about the condition. They go online and there's just so much information, it's overwhelming. So they may want a better understanding of what they're dealing with. And they're just not getting that through the doctor. And they just want to get more control. You know, it's like, well, I've got this, but, you know, I want to take back control for my health and for my body. And that's when clients come to me. So as a gut health coach, what I'm doing is helping them to understand their personal triggers, which may be environmental, so diet, lifestyle. They may be mental, so stress. It could be emotional. A lot of eating habits may have some sort of emotional trigger. I can help provide a a better understanding of the impact of diet, lifestyle and mental health on the gut, and to help you determine aspects of your life, so like your eating habits, your lifestyle behaviours that may be compromising your health, and help you determine a path to a healthier gut. So that's a bit more about the roadmap for diagnosing a gut condition. If you have any questions about anything that I've shared, about any of the procedures, because I've had them all done, then do shout out and let me know. I'll be back again next week for another video on health and nutrition. I'm Nikki Windsor, and my business is The Jungle Goddess, Gut Health UK. I'll see you next week. Bye.